Next thing you know, you got a coworker, you think they're cool because in your head you pursue and they respond. But since you're in a relationship and you're good, you're not pursuing, you're just minding your business. You're being pursued and you don't even know it. So next thing you know, you're in a janitor's closet with your pants down and things happening like, yo, how did we get here? But not for nothing. It feels good to be desired. When you've been rejected umpteen times, you know what that does for your self-esteem?
Let me say something that might make people uncomfortable. Not every man who cheats is a villain. Some men get caught up. And there's a difference. This episode is about why some good men cheat and why it's usually not what you think. There's a difference between a serial cheater and a man who gets caught in a moment. The consequences might look the same, but the psychology is not. Most men grow up being rejected more times than they're accepted. And that leaves a wound most of us never deal with. So when attention finally comes, we're not prepared for it.
So man to man, fellas, you may not want to admit this, you may not even know this. You have low self-esteem. The likelihood that you escape into adulthood without your self-esteem being in the trash is very low because we've been rejected countless times, more times than we've ever been accepted. So that has an impact on our self-esteem, and this makes us vulnerable to the attention of women when they give it to us. Someone who is non-monogamous, polyamorous, and just not comfortable enough and confident enough to communicate that to their partners. So what you have is a lot of lying and hiding and running and scheming and whatever, instead of just saying, hey, you know what? I'm not a one-woman man. I don't believe in monogamy. And there are women and men who go for that. If you just tell them up front and they make a decision, there are women and men who go for that. I've lived it. I've experienced it. I think if more men were honest and give themselves permission to just be honest, I will say you will be much more happy. You'll be much more comfortable in your life if you're able to just be honest about who you are and what you want when it comes to relationships and relations with women. Are you going to get every woman you desire? No. But when you do get a partner that understands your philosophy, your perspective, you are going to have a great relationship, a great time. Because there's no lying, there's no hiding, there's no perceived disrespect. It's none of that. Because this person knows coming in that, hey, he's not one woman. I agree to this and I'm okay with it. I want to offer up an explanation in how some men get caught up in these situations. And I'll use myself as an example. From the time that we are interested in the opposite sex, my interest started maybe 8, maybe 7. I'm what you call an ugly duckling. I did not grow into my features until late teens. We're talking about 19. Like really at the end, like my early 20s, that's when everything kind of came together, like 19, 20 and beyond. But I've always been interested in girls since I was young. And what would happen is, and I don't think my story is unique. I think this, I can make a blanket statement for most men on average, I would say, experience tremendous amounts of rejection when it comes to expressing interest in the opposite sex. I'm not, again, let me say this right. I'm not making an excuse. I'm just offering a perspective. Do with it as you will. So most men experience tremendous rejection. Now, here's where my story comes in. I was rejected tons of times. I got rejected a lot. I had these big eyes for my head. If you see me as a kid, I mean, my eyes are still big now, but if you see my pictures as a kid, I took up a lot of real estate. My head was big, my eyes were big, my nose was small, my mouth was small. Like my features didn't fit together. My body was small. Matter of fact, up until I want to say 14 or 15, my little sister used to be taller than me. So I was short, I was skinny. I didn't have anything going for me, but I had an interest. I found women attractive, and I'm trying because your hormones are online and they're telling you this is the thing. You need to get it. You need to get in on this. And so I was rejected a lot. And I'd be rejected in some diabolical ways. There was a girl that I liked a lot early on. I don't know why. I was just really, really attracted to her for a long time. And at a point in our history, She liked my brother. There were times that I remember some of the craziest things this girl would say to me, and I just would not take a hint. There were times like, why could you be more like your brother? I like guys a little older, taller. Lord, she would lambaste me. But I liked her. I couldn't help it. You know the funny thing about it? And not to take, because it's really not to take a swipe at her. I'm not. That's not the point of this. I realized in hindsight, she couldn't take me seriously. There were times when I was small enough that I'd be able to sit on her lap and she entertained me. I think she expressed interest in me eventually, maybe around 17, 18, somewhere around there. Her interest in me started, funny enough, after we had a trip where we went to Dominica for a wedding, my aunt's wedding. I remember that trip. That trip was an interesting time. I learned a lot about myself and rejection. Brother and I met a pair of sisters who were very similar to us in personality, in age. The older sister, she's my brother's age. Long story short, she shot me full of holes. And it was, man, she was no joke. And I was like, it hurt my feelings. I was depressed for a second. I remember waking up one morning, I don't want to get out of bed. The rejection, it had been so robust and diabolical. It had hurt my soul. So I came to the realization after that interaction that, hey, if you're interested in somebody and they don't have interest in you, nothing's wrong with you. The problem is not with you. Not necessarily the problem is with them, but nothing's wrong with you. You're good. So I remember shortly thereafter returning from that trip, and then this young lady that I used to be interested in, we were in the same space. And then she kind of shot a look at me. It probably wasn't her intention, but how I interpreted it when she looked at me, she'd always give me this little smile, a little half smile. But in my head, after that experience with the older woman, I was like, this heifer here playing with me. So I was around her, but I wasn't feeling her anymore. So she kind of flashed me a look, and I guess my energy, I'm a Scorpio. So when I don't mess with you, like when I'm not feeling. So she shot me a look, and I kind of just looked at her like, and I think I left. I was just like, I ain't messing with you. I'm not getting caught up into your, oh, look at my little pet. Oh, he likes me so much. Let me make his day. Let me smile at him. I was like, F out of here, to myself. And I'm like, I left. And I guess my confidence changed my appearance. Something happened, but I started becoming more attractive to other people. Not people that necessarily knew us, just other people outside started responding to me in a positive way. But what I had not realized is I wasn't prepared for it. This is the thing that I want to share with women in general when it comes to men and situations of infidelity. What happens when a man, in my opinion, becomes interested in women and when he actually acquires long-term relationship partnership with women is, and this is unknown to them either because I didn't realize it too much later in life, our self-esteem takes a hit. We have low self-esteem. We're easy. We become very, very easy. Our self-esteem is so low from all the rejection that we've absorbed over the years that when you finally try and you succeed, you're there, you're all good. What you're not prepared for is the point that happens with some of us. I'm not going to say all of us, but some of us, when it's not just you are actively pursuing women. Women start actively pursuing you. It's a different thing when you're the one hunting. When you're being hunted, I will just say this to a reasonable mind, man or woman. If you are used to doing a thing a certain way, and most times you try to do that thing, you are told no. You are not prepared for when that thing that you're used to chasing actually approaches you and then puts you in a position where you have to respond. Because usually you're the one asking. You're the one trying. You're not prepared to even, it's almost like, is she talking to me? You're shocked. Matter of fact, I was telling my wife about this. I remember there was a woman that I entertained for a while, and we had fun and it was cool. And this person was older than me. And I've known this person for years. And I remember being aware that her gaze had changed. There's a way someone looks at you, but when you've been outside and you're in these streets, you recognize there's a way that someone looks at you that's like, yeah, I want to play. But basically, we're not prepared for the approach because we're so used to being the ones approaching. It's almost like a dog. If a dog is running up on you and you stand still, they get kind of confused at first because they're used to the chase. They're not used to you walking up on them. They're used to barking, making noise, and you running away, and then they chase you because that's how they're wired. So you just standing your ground and even moving towards them kind of confuses them for a little bit. And that's what I think happens with some men. I think we have low self-esteem because we've been rejected more times than we've been accepted. And when we get to the point where not only are we being accepted, because I think there's so many factors that come into it. I have so many stories. Like I remember being 13 and 14 and you're interested in a girl that's like 13 and 14 and her boyfriend is 20. And she's hyped up that her boyfriend is 20. Meanwhile, she's actually being abused, but she doesn't know that because her ego is like, well, the older guys, they paying me attention. So not only are you being rejected outright because you're just regular and whatever, you're trying to figure it out, and women are so used to men approaching them and trying to get stuff from them. No is easy for them. Every day somebody a woman doesn't find attractive or interesting is approaching her. That's not something that happens to men when we're growing up. Women start dealing with that from puberty. From the minute they start getting little knobs on their chest, little roundness to their hips and whatnot, here come the males of all ages. So they're being approached by the ones that are on their level as far as being the same age, ones a little older than them, and even the ones a lot older than them, the criminals. Everybody approaching them. So they're like, no, 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 no. They're being offered so many options. No is their default. A woman's default when being approached by a man is no, because it's something she's had to say so often. Men don't get approached. Not when we're 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 50. We are not approached. So we're not equipped to deal with the approach. So I remember being interested in these girls my age, and they have boyfriends and happily like, oh, my boyfriend is this, my boyfriend is that. I'm sitting there like, do you understand how whack that is? Like not only are you competing against nature itself, but you're competing against pervs. You're competing against dudes who have jobs, dudes who have money, dudes who have resources that you don't have. And it's not fair because what business does a 19, 18, 20-year-old have with a 14-year-old? It's ridiculous. But that's the stuff that we deal with as men coming up. So we're not only competing against our peers, we're competing against our elders. So the level of rejection and self-esteem damage that we absorb is a lot. And unfortunately, a lot of us are oblivious to it because it's just par for the course. It's just how it goes. We're used to the rejection. We're used to it. So we accept it as like, try again, keep trying. And when you succeed, you're like, cool. You're happy, you're go lucky, you're minding your business, and your relationship is great. And then here come the coworker. You're minding your business, you got a coworker, you think they're cool because in your head you pursue and they respond. But since you're in a relationship and you're good, you're not pursuing, you're just minding your business. You're being pursued and you don't even know it. So next thing you know, you're in a janitor's closet with your pants down and things happening like, yo, how did we get here? But not for nothing. It feels good to be desired. When you've been rejected umpteen times, you know what that does for your self-esteem when someone actually approaches you, when someone actually tries for you? That messes up a lot of us. We're not equipped for it. We don't know how to deal with it. So we get caught up. And then we get sloppy because you get high, you get intoxicated. I'm just saying, just to give perspective, for someone who's been used to being rejected, you don't even know what it's like to be chased. So oftentimes when you're chased and you don't know what it's like to be chased, guess what happens? Your ass gets caught. You don't know you should be avoiding it. Yeah, your wife or your girlfriend will be like, you should know better. She was like, girl, you don't even know. You know better because you have been pursued 1,000 times. And 95% of the time you said no. So you know how to say no. He's never been pursued. He's not even wired for no. He's never been put in that position. It's like you don't even know what's happening. Next thing you know, you're naked, Things are happening. It's going down. Now you feel bad on one hand, but you feel great on the other because guess what? That little boy that's been rejected 1,000 times just got accepted without even trying. The difference between the serial cheater and someone who got caught up in something that they weren't ready for. Is it bad? Yes. Yes, it's bad. It's bad for the girlfriend. It's bad for the wife. It's bad for whatever. I'm just offering a perspective. This is my opinion. And I'm sure my wife will have something different to say about it. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But I'm just saying, like, we have to start giving our men some grace. Well, some men, some grace. Because if there's a pattern that's different. I consider myself a polyamorous person. So at first, I lied a lot. I hid a lot. I hurt a lot of people. I think towards the end of my dating, it was a little different. People knew what was up. They knew I had multiple partners because I didn't hide that. And when things changed, I told them. I mean, I'm not saying I was the best at it, but I'm just saying my experience up until before I got married was just different. My life wasn't stressful. Towards the end of my dating life, I was polyamorous, openly polyamorous. And I think for men, my advice is this: be honest. You're going to lose some. There are going to be some beautiful women that you like that are going to be like, hell no, I want you all to myself. If it's not all mine, whatever. And that's okay. But the thing is, it's not worth it to lie for it. It's just not worth it to lie for it. Have I been 100% of who I wanted to be at the time? No. I had some boundary stuff I need to take care of. I had some lessons I need to learn. Definitely some bumps and scrapes and bruises along the way. But, all I'm saying is, I think, ladies, I'm not telling you to let somebody take advantage of you. I'm just trying to offer you a perspective. Because I think what happens is we put ourselves in the position like, well, shoot, men come at me every day. And I'm like, no, I'm faithful. Never once considered, because you're looking at it from your perspective. You're like, this is what I do in a situation, and you should be able to do the same. What you don't take into consideration is a lot of our men are not equipped yet. Not that they can't be, they're not equipped yet. You've had a lifetime of practice. He ain't had no practice until he got to you. And that's when his practice started, because he's with you now, so he's probably being cleaned up. He's probably presenting better in society. Like, you've upgraded him to the point where now other women are like, oh, I like that. And they're single, so they're like, I'm going to go get that, because times have changed. This idea of this women don't approach men is a lie. And the women who tell you that lie are the women who need you out of the pool so that they can run free in it. Women approach men these days, especially men they find desirable. They're not playing any games. They out there and they hunting. I have been hunted many times, and I have been captured many times. And in this, I will admit, looking back, man, I look back at I know my self-esteem was low, because some of the folk that are back there, I'm like, whoa, how? But the funny thing is, like, you're so grateful that someone is paying you attention. You're just like, what do you want? Sure. We do that. We are so grateful to be seen that we give ourselves to anybody. Women say, men ain't got no, we don't have discernment. Not yet, not really. We don't start out with it. It's as time progresses, our self-esteem starts to get built up to a point. But a lot of us don't even know that our self-esteem is damaged to the point that we're entertaining people we shouldn't. We're just so grateful to be seen that we let people get access to us that don't necessarily deserve it. And it's not about they're beneath you. It's not that. It's just they don't deserve it. They don't necessarily have good intentions for you. They're not necessarily a good fit for you. So if you know what it is that you're about, what you're trying to do, and oftentimes that is, you're in a relationship, you're building a relationship, you just don't have the skills yet. You don't have the practice yet of saying no. I'm used to being chased. I'm good looking, in my opinion. It doesn't matter. I feel good about myself. I'm good looking. I'm talented. When I get on the stage of the microphone, shoot, forget it. It's up. So I'm used to being pursued now. So no is nothing, because that's not news. It's like, whatever. I'm not flattered by that. I'm not like, oh my God, she likes me? Somebody likes me. That little boy is grown now. But a lot of us men, even to this age, because I'm 49, a lot of us haven't had that encounter with the little boy that was rejected 1,000 times to be like, hey, you're okay. Because what happens As we get older, see, when you were younger, your body didn't look good because your 13-year-old girls are looking at grown-ass men as examples of handsome, be the TV star, musician, whatever the hell. They're looking at people that don't look like you. You're 13, it hasn't come together for you. She has a crush on a 17-year-old, 18-year-old, broader shoulders, bigger chest, taller, more muscular. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, as you start approaching those parameters, your shoulders start spreading, your beard starts coming in, all of that good stuff, right? Unfortunately, the little guy that was rejected is not growing either. He's still there. He's not being watered. He's not being fed yet. So we grow into our man bodies, but that little boy is still sitting down, waiting to be picked. So even though we've grown into our man bodies, that little boy is still sitting down saying, pick me. And what happens is, oftentimes, because you become more valuable in society, now you're more attractive, now you're making money, now you have an education, now you have a car, now you have an apartment, or now you have a house. All of these things lift you, lift you, lift you, lift you, lift you. And now it's like, he is now worthy of attention, and the attention starts coming. But that little boy, hoping to be picked, hasn't been healed. So he responds to all attention. Because he's so desperate to be picked. He's responding to everything. And even though he's met a partner, chosen a partner, so he tried, hooked up with someone, that's going somewhere. He's even married, has kids, has all that kind of stuff. That little boy hasn't been healed. He just successfully hunted. You get what I'm saying? It's like, so he tried and he succeeded. He's hunted. But because that little boy doesn't know what it's like to be picked or to be chosen or to be hunted himself, to be the object of desire, because he's not familiar with that. When that presents itself, it's intoxicating. It's also disarming because oftentimes you don't see it coming. Men do not assume by default that women are attracted to them. Not the average man. A guy who's been attractive by society standards knows this because that's his experience. But the average man, that's not his experience, that women find you attractive. You have to try to make yourself attractive to them. When you don't have that experience, your default is women don't find you attractive. So that when your wife is saying to you, you got to pull up some boundaries with this person, is because your wife knows what intention looks like. Because your wife has been on the receiving end of it for a long time. Because you don't know what it looks like. You're just like, she's tripping. Or your girlfriend, like, she's bugging. Like, what? Like, that girl don't want me. And he means it. I would like to say this to you. He means it. When that man says to you, that woman don't want me, he means that. He's not trying to gas you. He's not trying to lie to you. He means it. And I think that's what makes it so upsetting and so hard, fellas. That when the woman she warned you about is the woman you fall into. That's what really pisses her off. Because it's like, I told you. And it's hard for her to understand that, yes, I told you. But it's hard for her to understand that, no, but I didn't believe you because that's not my lived experience that women want me. So I didn't believe you. So you remain vulnerable to this person and the person catches you. And then, it is what it is. So I'm just saying, like, I think a lot of people have blown up their lives and blown up their relationships, men and women alike, prematurely. I'll say this because I'm speaking for the men right now, because the women are the ones who say, I'm done, and they walk away after infidelity or whatever. Again, we're talking about the difference between a serial cheater and someone who got caught up in something. I'm just explaining to you how some men can caught up in some foolishness that you saw coming a mile away, that you warned them about, and they still got caught up in it. I'm just saying it's because our lived experience is different. We do not know what it's like to be pursued. Not most of us. Most of us live in the shadows, hoping to be picked, hoping to be acknowledged, while being compared to our bigger brothers, while being compared to celebrities on TV, while being compared to older boys and older men who actually have no business talking to our counterparts. So we're crushed often. And I just want that out there to the woman who's experienced something similar. I mean, if you're hearing this and you're like, I never thought about that, and it makes sense to you. So before you blow up your house, thinking that you have a man who's no good, I'm just going to say this. You have a man who's not healed. And he has a particular vulnerability. But now that you're aware of it, you can heal it. You can help him heal it. Therapy, whatever. Use the tools. Get to the root of it. Hug that little boy. Let him know, hey, I got you. I got you. You picked the man body, but you have not had a conversation with the little boy. So, ladies, find a little boy. Have the conversation with him. Because, yeah, you got the man body. Job, house, career, car, money, good looking, in the gym, take care of whatever. Whatever your flavor is, you have the man body. But I promise you, more often than not, you have not met the little boy and you have not had a conversation with the little boy. And I think your relationship can be salvaged when you're aware of the little boy and you connect with the little boy and then you realize, yes, stuff can happen. Stuff did happen. But if that's not your experience with him, if he's not the guy that was always running around chasing women, and if he's not that, that's not your experience, and this is an anomaly, don't let an anomaly destroy your relationship. And trust me, it's devastating. We feel it too when we mess up. I ain't gonna say we don't. We do. So, especially if it's a woman you care about. So, I'm just putting that out there. This is my spin on it. You know, I want to say there's a really big difference between a serial cheater and someone who got caught up in a moment. YouTube has that song, Caught in a Moment. You know, some guys got caught in a moment. It's not who they are. It doesn't speak to their character. It actually speaks to some brokenness that needs to be addressed. So I just wanted to leave you with that today. I thank you guys for having a conversation. And if there's anything for you to leave with, talk to each other. I think that conversation needs to be had because I think we have a lot of women with very high self-esteem and a lot of men with very low self-esteem in relationships. And I think the standard is okay. There's nothing wrong with having a standard. There's nothing wrong with having an expectation. I think you should just explore what's within the realm of possibilities and why these possibilities exist. And I think if you have that conversation with your partner, honestly, I think you might save yourself some pain and some drama. Yeah, stuff's going to happen, man, but you're dealing with something that he's not even prepared to deal with himself. The actual attention of women that are desirable, that find you desirable. When your experience has been, most of the women I found desirable did not want me. So I never assumed that a woman that I even find attractive is attracted to me. I'm speaking for myself. I've lived a very beautiful life. Even the beautiful life I've lived, there were moments where my self-esteem was low and I've encountered and entertained people that were not beneficial for me. So, in closing, I just want to say, listen, do an inventory of self. And this is for the men and the women too. Oftentimes, that little boy is still sitting down in a corner, waiting to be picked. Pick me, still wearing the scars of, you're too young, you're too short, you're not. You don't have enough money, you don't have enough. When we're growing up and we're being beat down by older men, expressing interest in the girls that are our age. We don't have their money. We don't have their resources. We don't have their bills. We don't have their bodies. I mean, I'm not mad at a young lady for finding the body of a grown, fully developed man attractive. It's biological. That's not on her. That's on him. He should stay away. Now, the funny thing is, bros, men, we're going to take hits. We're going to get bruised. We're going to get beat up. Because at the end of the day, yeah, you're interested in the girls. You're 11, 10, 12. You're interested in those 12-year-old girls. And those girls are interested in 17, 18 and up. Because that's what they see. That's what they like. You don't fall into that category. Oh, just know you're going to be damaged by the time you get to young adulthood. By the time you get to college and all that kind of stuff, you're going to be damaged. And you're really going to think, you're going to be so happy to capitalize on opportunities that present themselves. You should ask yourself more, should I versus could I? But we're so thankful to be able to that we just do. If there's anything I want you to take from this is, men, we've got some bags that we need to unpack. We do. The sooner you admit it to yourself, the better off you're going to be. Ladies, the likelihood that your man has not done the work that he needs to heal that little boy is very high. And if you can get to an understanding with him and then approach that, your relationship is going to be better for it. And then to everyone in the middle or the people that don't feel it applies to them, hey, good for you. Enjoy. But I would just like to present, for argument's sake, there's a serial cheater and there's someone who got caught up in something. They're not the same person. Although they tend to bear the same consequences, they're not the same person. And that's it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your time. This is Michael Maxwell of the Say It Plain with Michael Maxwell podcast. Until next time, take care of yourself, take care of each other. Thank you.